Hi, my name is Kim and I'm going to be showing you today how I made this really fun fancy fold happy birthday card with products from Stampin' Up. I have a website called www.handmadebykim.co.uk where you can find lots of ideas using Stampin' Up products, mostly cards but the odd 3D item here and there. I shared a tutorial recently for the same fancy fold as I'm going to show today. But I wanted to do another one just because I wanted to try and give you some better instructions on how to resize this mechanism inside depending on the size of your card. I'm just going to quickly show you the other cards that I've made recently and shared on my blog with the same style fancy fold. So as you can see, I mean, I do like a circle. It's quite nice just to have something in the center of the card, but essentially these are all different colors, different stamp sets, all using the same fancy fold. So you can use this fancy fold to decorate your card however you like, but these are just some ideas. This is some DSP from Back in Celebration, the Friendly Hello DSP and the stamp set, and inside I've just got some black and white paper from the Pattern Party paper, and then the sentiment with some stamping and background. This I made for a team swap recently for a recent event, completely monochrome, one of each colour of the 2021 to 2023 in colours. This one's Evening Evergreen. Again, you can see them on my blog, and inside I've just used some of the DSP that we have in the catalogue at the moment. So yeah, they have those for each colour family, so that was quite nice. I had the same pattern for each colour. And then I've got the Sweet as a Peach DSP, which is hoping I've released the videos in the same order that I intend to. This one will have come out already. If not, this one will be coming out soon. So this is the Sweet as a Peach and Your stamp set, and the Your a Peach DSP. And again, here you go, got the same mechanism. So really lovely idea to use with whatever you have in your stash, whatever is your favourite. And today I am showing you, this is, let me just refer to, yeah, this is a hand-penned DSP from Stampin' Up. It's really lovely. I haven't used it enough, but having used it for this project, I'm kicking myself. I haven't used it so much yet. So this pack has a lot of different colours within it, but I tend to pick out just a couple of colours. So in the pack there's Basic Black, Blushing Bride, Cinnamon Cider, Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Highland Heather, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Pale Papaya and Pool Party. So today I'm picking out the 3 colours, well there's actually 4, but the 3 colours I've picked out from the DSP are Highland Heather. Well actually I haven't used Daffodil Delight, I've used So Saffron, so it just goes to show as long as you keep within the same colour range it all works. And then I've used Mint Macaron. I don't know why, I really prefer using quite subtle colours. So for this stamping here I've actually stamped off, but I will go and explain a bit more later. The ribbon I had was in Gorgeous Grape, so I decided to use that because I felt it worked. So then I've pulled in a bit of Gorgeous Grape with the sentiment here. Same with the stamping inside. I've used various sets. So this is a happy birthday card, and as you can see it all matches from whatever angle, which I do love a coordinating card. That makes me very happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this card together, and at the end of the video, if you want to learn how to resize it for whatever card size you've got, I'm going to show you how to do that. I did show it in another, like I mentioned, I did show it in my other video, but I think I've made it a little bit clearer today. All right, so let me just get ready and pop some bits out of the way. Okay, so I've cut everything, I've stamped everything. I just want to teach you how to make this card. Like I said, you decorate it your own way. I'd love to see any, do tag me if you're on Instagram. Please tag me at Handmade Crafts by Kim, or you know, send me an email to info@handmadebykim.co.uk, or just get in touch via my blog, which is www.handmadebykim.co.uk. handmadebykim.co.uk. I love seeing other people's interpretations of my card. It really makes my day. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my trimmer and just talk you through. I've done all the cutting already. So this is Cardbase. So this was half a sheet of A4, which is the UK standard paper. So I know in America you've got a different size, roughly the same, but just the dimensions are slightly different. So what you need to do is you need to cut that in half lengthways and then score in the middle. So that would be, if you're in the UK, you'd be cutting at 10.5 centimeters and scoring at 14.9. So this card, the most key thing I think is making sure that this piece here is a perfect square. So to do that, what you're going to do, we already know that width is 10.5 centimeters. So we want to make that 10.5 centimeters from this open end. Okay, so 10.5 centimeters that way, and then we've got our square. I'm going to score through both pieces of card at the same time at 10.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to give that a really good press, and then I'm just going to put my trimmer away. And as you can see, it's difficult on white cardstock. You might not be able to see, but that score line has actually gone through. So what I'm going to do is just fold and burnish those score lines, and I'm actually going to do them both directions. I feel it just works, it folds better that way, and the same here. Just really burnish those really well. Okay, so now we have a card that opens, and we're going to seal this bit down later so it opens like that. Okay, so let me just check, because that doesn't look very square to me. Oh my goodness, I have scored that wrong. What have I done? I've scored that at 10.5. So we're just going to do that again quick. It won't take me long. Just going to take a piece of A4. See, we can all make mistakes. It's just one wrong move, but the most important thing is that we correct it before it's too late. So I'm just going to do all of that again. Actually, I haven't scored at 10.5. Let me do that properly this time. And then what I'm going to do is speed up the video. At the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in place all my layers. So we have this here. So the Highland Heather piece. This is, let me just refer to my notes. So this is 10.1 centimeters by 10.1. And this small piece is 10.1 centimeters by 3.9. And you're going to have all these measurements on my blog, so you can refer to those. I have a 2 millimeter border. You know, you can choose your own mats and layer sizes depending on the size of your card. And then the DSP here is 9.7 by 9.7, and this piece is 9.7 by 3.5. So I'm just going to burnish all score lines and stick down all my mats and layers, but I will speed that up for you. Okay, so I've stuck those layers down, and now we're just going to get the ribbon in place. So the ribbon is approximately 16 plus 12, 28 inches. It doesn't need to be that long, but I always add some extra length just so I can make sure I can tie the bow. Okay, so I'm just putting it in position and making sure that I've got it equally, so I can just tie a bow at the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just take some wet glue or liquid glue. I use Tombow, can't use anything else. You find me a better glue than this one. I've never looked back since I found this one. There were so many that I could never use. I mean, I've got a few problems with my hands, only slight mobility issues, but this one is just super easy. So I'm just going to stick that ribbon right in the centre, and it's probably a lot of extra glue there, but I just want to make sure it's definitely secure and doesn't pop open. Okay, just wiping the glue off my hands. And if you watch my other video on this card, you'll know that I didn't have a very successful bow tying experience. So strangely, I tie bows upside down. I don't know what I do, but it always looks better this way for me. So don't take any bow tying tips from me. I am not someone to be learning this from. I like this sort of ribbon. I find that I like a really, I don't know how to describe it, like a sheer ribbon bow. I like that look. I don't like that at all. I find it easier to tie with this sort of ribbon. Still, it's just not going very well, as you can see. See, you know, by the time you see a ribbon on one of my cards, you can now imagine that I might have taken about 20 different attempts before I've got it how I like it. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so it can take me a while. I actually created a rip card recently with quite an elaborate bow with this ribbon. Couldn't tell you how I did it. Don't think I'd ever be able to do it again, but I was mighty impressed with myself. Okay, that will do. I think that will be all right. Just going to cut that back. See, you can see we have plenty of extra. I might cut that back a little bit more. Okay, so that's going to go on the front, but we're going to do all of that later. First of all, I'm just going to put that out of the way. This is the piece for the inside. So I don't know whether maybe I did it on my other card actually. Just flip the inside so it's a little bit different. No, I'm going to keep it the same. I really like that pattern. I think it's really pretty. So what we're going to do is take this piece of DSP. Now this is 14.6 by 14.6. Don't be fooled and thinking, oh, I'll grab a 6 by 6 inch piece of DSP, which is a quarter of our full size paper. Don't be fooled and thinking, oh, that will be okay. It won't be. It has to be this size for it to fit. Otherwise, it just won't work. And it will, you know, come out the side of the card, and you don't want to be seeing any of that. So this one, for this card, for the UK size, this is how I've measured it, and I will show you, as I said at the end of the video, how I resized it for other card sizes. So this is going to kind of open like this. So you don't really want your flowers upside down, but they are going to be at an angle. And you're just going to fold it once from corner to corner. Okay, so I'm going to fold every time I do a score line. I'm going to burnish it both directions. So yeah, that you kind of think that's the way the card's going to be. So you want your card with the vertical, not the well, yeah, you want that score line in that position, and then you're just going to fold it in half in both directions. You might be wondering why I'm not scoring this on my scoreboard. I don't think it's necessary. I think with a scoreboard you could not fold it directly in half with the score lines, and it's really important the paper just all folds perfectly. You know, there's nothing overlapping. You know, that didn't take a lot of work. So we've got a score line like this, and one like this, one like that. So we've got a cross and a diagonal. So we want to fold this now. So the best way to do this is, see this piece, you want to kind of encourage them like that. It just falls into place super easily, and then you just need to give that a really good A really good burnish. Okay. See, I'm not happy with that. It's got a little bit of overhang, but I don't think you're going to notice it, so we'll be all right. So when you open it like that, yeah, that's how it will fit in the card. Normally I stick these in place when they're in the card, but you know what, I'm going to do it before I do that bit today. Everything will be easier like this. So I've made two little sentiments. This one says, sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. And this one I've just got an area for you to write your message to the person you're sending it to. And I've just taken some stamps from the hand-penned stamp set. Oh, I haven't quite got that where I want it to be. It's wet glue, so I've still got a little bit of time to move it. So these pieces of Whisper White, or Basic White as we now call it, and I'll never get used to saying that, I haven't called it Whisper White for so many years. That's 6.9 centimetres by 6.9. You can measure and, you know, fit whatever you like. You could use a die cut. You could even go right up to the edge and try and fill this area. But yeah, so let's get my card base back in. So as you can see here, this piece exactly folded fits perfectly in that space. It doesn't overhang and it doesn't sit too far in either, because we want that to be as big as possible. And we're now just going to glue that in place, but you just got to make sure you're going to glue it in the right direction. So I would encourage you just to hold it where you think it needs to go, and just try not to move it much, so you know you're going to stick it back where it needs to go. So one more check. Last we want to do is ruin our card at this stage, and then we're just going to pop that in the middle. And the beauty with wet glue is you've got a few seconds again to keep it in place, but you know, if you can use tape, whatever works for you. So straight away we're going to glue that other piece down and just fold that straight over. You don't need to think about where that card's got to go, you just got to fold it flat. That's all you've got to think about. Okay, and now when we open it, it fits perfectly. You could even put some DSP or something here. My blade's running out, so I'm not happy with that, but I'll trim that later. I've only got one blade at the moment, so I really need to get an order in quick. So I've already stamped this already, and so I've used the Hand-Penned Petals stamp set. So this is in the Stampin' Up annual catalogue, and we actually have got a new catalogue coming up at the beginning of May. Not sure whether this one is going to be carrying over, could very well be retiring. So if you do like it, I wouldn't hang about. I would make sure you get that order in. So if you live in the UK, Germany, France, the Netherlands or Austria, you can place an order in my Stampin' Up shop. You can go online to my blog, www.handmadebykim.co.uk, and that you will find in the top banner a link to shop online. And if you place that order, that will come through to me, and I will pop you a little thank you card and a little sample of DSP in the post. That's what I do for anyone who places an order with me. So I'd be really grateful, you know, if you decide to do that. But I understand a lot of you already have Stampin' Up demonstrators that you're already shopping with. I've been a demonstrator for almost 9 years now. I have had a few breaks in that time, but that was just because life got a little bit busy. Stampin' Up, to me, ultimate colour coordination. I love all of it. I love the stamping, the stamps and the dies, specifically the dies that match with the stamps. I'm not so much a punch fan, but still, if you are, there's plenty of matching punches and dies as well. These dies, they're lovely actually. This one cuts out this shape, so I've stamped this and then I've die cut it with this shape. There's also a kind of intricate one as well. I did actually use that for the front and I didn't like it, so I started again. There's also dies for these images and some lovely sentiments too. Those sentiments though weren't going to work with my card today, because I really wanted to create some happy birthday cards. I've got plenty to send out, but what I've used to stamp my card is Mint Macaron, Highland Heather and So Saffron. It's quite a nice summery spring-like colour combination. Really speaks to me actually. I think it's lovely. You'll find a lot of these colours on my blog. I really am a sort of pastel floral fan. So these stamps here, and this is a photopolymer set. So you have the outline stamps, a couple of sentiments, and then you have these stamps here that's basically stamp in the place of the leaves and the flowers. Now, initially, I found it quite hard because the stamps don't exactly match the shape of the outline. And if you're kind of a bit OCD like me, that's like really hard to kind of work with. But now I'm looking at it, I quite like it. I like that effect. I like the white. I like the kind of, it doesn't quite match. It's meant to be like that on purpose. And therefore, you know, these two stamps kind of work in these places. You've got one small leaf, you've got a bigger leaf, and they kind of just work. What I did though, just to soften it and make sure it fit with my style, is I stamped off on my grid paper before I stamped on, just so it just was a little bit lighter, and I really like this effect. So I've used the Layer in Circles dies to die cut a piece of white and then some Highland Heather, and I've popped this up with some dimensionals just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm just going to add even more dimension to the front by adding a few more dimensionals to the back. Okay, and let's just pop that in place. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. I'll tell you what, there's so many times I've been through so many different features for the front of this card, and I've literally, I think this is the third thing I tried, and now I love it. And if I just settled with the first, I would have hated it, and I probably wouldn't have put it on my blog. So it just goes to show that it's just worth keep trying, keep playing with things, keep working with things. Sometimes what we see in our head either works perfectly or it just doesn't work at all. And I think this is, you know, for me, if I'd shown you my other versions, you'd say, yeah, hands down, this is perfect. So I've taken a happy birthday sentiments from another stamp set. I think it might have been the Sweet as a Peach one, and I've stamped it in Versamark onto some gorgeous grape, and I've heat embossed it with some white. I think I need some new white embossing powder because it's not very it's a little bit patchy. So I definitely need to get another order in to stock up on a lot of things. So as you can see now, we have 2 cards, perfect for my stash. As soon as it's someone's birthday, I've got these to go out. I'm probably going to add some jewels. Let's have a little think. What shall we add in? Ooh, that might work. I've got all my jewels, all my little gems are all in these little plastic pockets I've cut down. Done some organisation recently. I love playing around with organisation, so I just find it easier just to get those out and have a look through, see what I've got. So I'm going to use some of these brass, what they called, brushed brass butterflies. Oh dear, that's a bit hard to say. Brushed brass butterflies. You don't want to say that too quick. Oh, beautiful. Look, I'm going to have to be OCD and do it the same. Oh, these are lovely. Where am I going to put this one? I'm going to have to see. I can spend ages thinking about placement. I'm going to pop that one there. Let's do the same on this one. Oh, love it. Hopefully the light's not too bad. It's just getting a bit darker here in the UK. It's now 6 PM I'm filming this, and the light's just going down. I can't wait for light evenings so I can get more crafting in and more photography in daylight. Quite frustrating in the winter because you've only got so much time that you can film videos and take photographs in natural daylight. It's always my preference. Okay, so those little butterflies, you probably couldn't see them very well, but They're just lovely. I'll take some pictures and pop them on my blog post. Okay, so that's my cards for today. If you want to hang around, I'm just going to talk you through how to resize these for paper or different size cards. If this size is fine for you, then thank you very much for watching my video. All the details, like I said, all the dimensions that I've used and all the products I've used are all going to be on my blog post and also on the video comments. So thank you very much for joining me, and just hold fire and I'll talk you through how to resize it. Okay, so resizing this card for your piece of card. So remember when I explained how to make this, the most important thing, this was the wrong sized one, is to have a square here. I'm just gonna get rid of that bit of card. And let me get my card back in. So you want to have a square here so that that fits into the space perfectly. And so we know on this card that the width of this piece is 10.5 centimeters. All right, do you remember? Because that's the same width there. So what we want to make sure is that we find out the right size paper based on that. So that bit's 10.5, that diagonal. Okay, so let's just say your card, so this is what I'd recommend, this is what I do quite a lot. Use a bit of printer paper. Don't waste your precious cardstock or your nice pattern paper. Practice, get what you want right, and then cut into your cardstock. So this one is not quite right. You might have a bigger piece of paper, but this little side piece is a bit too skinny. But I wanted to just give you an example of how to do this. So I've made this, I wanted my square to be 5 inches by 5 inches. So yeah, I'm not quite sure on the American size cardstock. So, you know, it might be 4 inches by 4 inches. That might make more sense. Or it might be an odd measurement. I'm not sure what half a piece of your cardstock comes to. But let's just say, if we think about this, this is 5 inches by 5 inches, this space here. And then I've just got this little bit on the edge. That's kind of irrelevant. You know, it can be, that can be really super wide or whatever, as long as you've got this square. Okay. And so we know that we want something to fit in this box like this. Okay, so take some grid paper. Now I didn't quite say this right in my last video. So we need to draw our piece, and we need to do, and I said a right angle, but it's not a right angle. I want to say it's 90 degrees. So this is a right angle here. And we want to go diagonally, directly through the squares. So what's that, 90. So this is 90 degrees. So you want this to be at 45 degree, this line. I think that's right. If it's not, I'm going to pop something else up on the screen just to make sure that I've got that across okay. So we know that we need this piece to be 5 inches across. So that doesn't mean that our piece of DSP is going to be 10 inches by 10 inches. That's not going to work. It's going to be too big. But we do need the diagonal to be 10 inches by 10 inches. So if you draw a line at 45 degrees or halfway round from a right angle up to 10 inches, so that's here. Now whatever your measurement is, knock off a couple of 1/8 of an inch, 2 to 4 millimeters, just to make sure it's going to sit in properly. Don't go the full way, so just knock it down a bit, and then draw a line down, and then draw a line across from where you are. And that is actually going to give us 7 inches. Now that's just by chance, that's just the size I chose. It's never going to always be a round number. So then you're going to cut a piece of paper that is 7 inches. And then you're going to do the same folds down, across, and diagonal, fold it in like I showed you, and then you're going to see that it fits exactly inside. And you do the same as I said, stick it down, stick that down, and there you have it. So I think that's the best way I can explain. Now, if that doesn't work and it overhangs, so that peeks out just a little bit, just go back to that square you've got and trim a couple of millimeters, 1/8 of an inch off the edge, refold it and put it back in place and check it works. And when you're happy, that's when you want to cut your DSP. Cut your DSP, cut your cardstock to match, and make a note of those measurements so you don't have to ever do that again. Get your little notepad. I don't know if you're like me, I have a little notepad, and in here are all my cards. If they've been inspired by someone, I make sure I write that down, because then I can credit them if I'm sharing more blog posts. But yeah, write it down. And yeah, love to see lots of other designs. In fact, I really like to see a big version of this. I think it'd be really nice, you know, really nice surprise for somebody to receive a card. But anyway, let's go back to my cards that I've made. I hope that they've helped. I hope you like the design, and I hope that you have a go yourself. Do let me know how you get on. Leave me a thumbs up if you like my video, or leave a comment, even better. That would make my day. Thank you so much for joining me.